So you speak about some the twists and turns that you have to deal with and whatnot, and oftentimes that's tied into motivation. A quick question that we wanted to ask you in terms of like what we ask all of our guests that come on is, what's your why? You know those days where you wake up and it's challenging to get out of bed and do what you love. What's your why? What's your driving motive behind all of your success, your ambition?
Well, first of all, when you get out, if you're doing something you love, it's easy to get out of bed, right? It's when you're in a job that you don't necessarily love, but you know that it's a means to get to where you need to go. So it's just the start, it's the platform of what you're doing, and I think that, like, for myself, I'm motivated to improve and grow personally, and even though I've been in the NBA for over 20 years. It's a challenge for me, and I know there's always something I feel that I can improve upon and learn in this game. And the game, the NBA changes so rapidly. The players change, the strategy changes. So I come to work every day, and I try to with a growth mindset, and try to get out of bed and say, listen, I'm going to be a little bit better today. I want to get better today, and I've been very fortunate to be in three really good organizations now in the past, I don't know what, 10, 15 years. I started with Oklahoma City years ago and went to Toronto, and now I'm in Los Angeles with the Clippers. And all three organizations are run by very good leadership, very good ownership, and I've been able to really lock into what I'm trying to do here, and they've challenged us as employees also. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a lot of tough days in whatever you do, and especially in the NBA, especially when you come through, the dead of winter and you're in a 2 or 3 game losing streak. It seems like there's going to be no end to anything. And you just, it's sometimes it is hard, but you have to find that thing that inspires you to push and improve. And there's a lot of times in the NBA, you get into a city at 1 a.m, you take the bus ride to the hotel, it's an early morning coaches meeting, then you have a game later that day, and it's just it drains you a little bit. So it's important that you stay focused, and you have, sometimes there's long-term goals, but there could also be a lot of short-term goals that you're trying to check off.
Absolutely. And for you, I guess, with all those, like, the late night bus rides and going from team to team, you're kind of in a cool position now where you're back at the team where you got your first opportunity in the NBA. Is it kind of, I know the league has changed so much, but is it kind of familiar and nice for you to be back home in LA and be back? Do you see some of the same faces with the organization when you first started? And how did you get your position I think you were a scout first with the Clippers. How did you get that position?
Well, first of all, yeah, it is very good to be back. It's where I grew up in Los Angeles, so I do have family here. Unfortunately, the job keeps me away from a lot of free time and hanging out and seeing people. I feel like I'm either practicing, playing, or traveling, right? But that's okay. I think that I was gone probably from Los Angeles when I left the Clippers. I was gone about 16, 17 years. So I think there was quite a changeover. Ownership changed, management changed. Obviously, the players changed. So it's like an entire new organization for me now that I come back. But there are some familiar faces, and believe it or not, there's some familiar fans that are still here rooting for the team. So it's been good to be back. We have a great coaching staff. I'm working for, in my opinion, the best coach in the NBA, Doc Rivers. Then we have some really good assistant coaches, and it's a great work environment for me. And just speaking on how I got the job in the NBA, I was actually playing at East Los Angeles College, and I played for a couple of years. And then I went on and I transferred to Cal Poly Pomona, and I was injured, and I didn't play one particular year. So the coach at East Los Angeles College, my old coach, asked me if I wanted to help them be a graduate assistant and kind of learn the game from the coaching side. And I said, yeah, it really didn't pay a whole lot of money, and it didn't matter to me. I kind of just wanted to get the experience and stay involved. And I coached for a year or two. and I kind of got the bug, right? And I said, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do. I got the coaching bug. And I reached out to the Clippers, and I interviewed for a position that they had in their scouting department. And luckily, I just, I was able to catch on, and it was a different time because there were not, it wasn't probably as vast. The staff now, and is probably, I would say, anywhere from, I don't know, 15 to 25 people in the basketball operations, where back then it was probably such a smaller staff, it was maybe easier to get on. So I was able to hook up with the Clippers, and I turned it into a full-time position. I stayed with them for 10 years.